How is it going, everyone? It is late at night for me, but it's probably early morning for you guys. Welcome back to the show. It's been a week since I've posted anything because it was so long, but I'm gonna start changing it up. I'm gonna instead, take some criticisms I've gotten and just make my videos a little bit shorter and focus on one subject. And so I'm gonna try to make these videos almost 15 minutes long instead of an hour. Um, so just expect, 15 minutes of footage at most. I'm gonna try to keep it around 15 minutes, so I'm not gonna try to breach over 20. So just keep that in mind. But anyway, the subject I kind of wanted to focus on for this video is kind of an update for Nikolas Cruz, our Parkland, Florida high school shooter. Now, as we all know, he's not serving any time really. He's just being held in prison as of the moment. But most people know that he committed this crime, and a lot of people knew in advance, that he was already kind of, showing signs of what he was going to do because of everything he was saying on social media, saying how he wanted to be a professional school shooter and things like that. Well, there were some new recent developments that the police have released to the public of Florida and really everybody. And what that happens to be is apparently when the police went inside to start evacuating the kids because they thought that the shooter had moved upstairs, because this is a 3-floor high school. So he was going floor by floor by floor. But when the police went in to start evacuating the kids out of the school, they realized on the first floor that there was a ski mask along with a camo jacket that was discarded and left in the middle of the floor. They realized that it was Nikolas Cruz's. They realized it was his, and they decided to just keep going. But when they got to the third floor is when it got really weird for them, because they got to the third floor and found that he discarded his rifle he was using to commit the shooting in the middle of the floor on the third floor, amongst the pile of shell casings there, as well as a couple of mags lying around the rifle, which tells me that he was smart enough to ditch everything he had so that way no one A knows it was him because he was masked most of the time, and B, no one saw him with the gun or anything. So they're not going to assume that he's the shooter. That's how he got out with the children being evacuated, because no one knew who it was because he was wearing a mask. I'm glad they answered that because I was still trying to figure out how in the blue hell does someone not know who the shooter is initially. Someone would have seen him in the beginning, but that's why. It's because he was wearing a mask. So that makes sense. But as of the moment, he's still just being held in prison, and there was another hearing about 4 days ago for him. There's still no court date for this kid. He's still just sitting in prison, staring at the ceiling, remaining mostly silent. He's not serving any punishment right now, other than just being held in prison. But still, he really doesn't talk much. He doesn't have really that many visitors anymore, except from his lawyer, who, by the way, seems like she's just playing this combative lawyer game where she is going to continuously push back his actual court date for as long as she can, keeping him out of prison or away from the death penalty. Because right now, the state is still searching for the death penalty for this kid. They won't take the deal if he pleads guilty and he'll serve his sentence. So he may just end up getting the death penalty. I don't know, but it seems that way. He's just going to end up getting the death penalty because they want it bad for this kid. And who can blame him? He took 17 innocent lives. Guy deserves nothing less than some form of punishment. But at the same time, I don't think people realize nowadays that death for guys like these is not a punishment. In fact, it is a release. If a criminal like this ends up just getting put down like a dog, they're not serving any punishment. If anything, they win, you know? It's kind of like at the end of the movie The Devil's Rejects, where they're all sitting in the back of the this convertible car, and then they see a roadblock ahead of them, all police, and they're just looking at each other like, well, this is our last stand. Which is, by the way, I love the music that they picked for that scene because it was awesome. It's Free Bird, baby. But that's what they ended up doing. They just took out all the guns they had and just drove towards this roadblock of police and fired. And they were riddled, even more so worse than Bonnie and Clyde were. They were riddled with lead and just shot to high heaven, completely eradicated. But they basically won because they didn't have to serve any prison time. They pretty much got away with everything they did, and that's how I kind of see what this lawyer is doing for this kid right now. She's doing her best to make sure A, he stays out of prison, and B, stays away of death. I just I want a court date soon for this kid because I'm tired of people like this getting away with so much for so long, okay? There should already be a court date for this kid. I'm just saying. And another development, evidently, I didn't know this, but Nikolas Cruz had a brother, a blood brother. His name is Zach Cruz. And apparently, he is currently arrested and in the same prison as his brother. They don't know that, though. As far as Zach knows, Nick is in another prison, and Nick thinks Zach is somewhere else at home. They don't know that they're there. But anyway, the reason is Zach's in prison right now is because he was caught trespassing on the campus grounds of where Nicholas committed the shooting, which is, I believe it's Browery High School. I believe it was Browery Manson, something like that, high school. But anyway, he was caught on the premises of the high school, and evidently it was the day before that school was. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit the microphone. Evidently, it was supposed to be before school was supposed to come back open for that high school. So no one was still allowed to be on that campus as of the moment, and that's why they brought him in. And the funny thing is apparently they only have him on a $25 bond, sitting in prison. So all someone has to do is, excuse me, all someone has to do is just pay the fine for him, and he walks. But still, the thing that boggles me is the reason that he went to the school in the first place. And they quoted him on it, and he said that he went there to try to understand why. Now, I don't blame anybody. I think anybody's still wondering why as to why he did it. But like, if my sister is, because I have sisters, I have no brothers. But if my sister had committed a shooting, honestly, I just drop her from everything. I mean, I love my family and all, but the second you commit a crime such as committing a school shooting and killing so many people, you pretty much just lose all my respect, and you're just very well dead to me. But that's what his brother did. Now they're both in prison as of the moment. I don't know if he's gotten out yet, but I just don't understand why he would do that. I initially thought that he was trying to sneak in something for Nicholas, but they still don't know that each other that they're there. So that can't necessarily be the reason. But anyway, beyond that, there are still a couple of kids who I don't know if they're just trying to get 15 minutes of fame, but they're uh they're these two kids that are kind of still pushing for gun control. Here is a big lesson for a lot of people that don't understand. When an event like this happens, okay? I think the last biggest one before this one was the Las Vegas shooting. And when an event like this happens, why do people instantaneously go to the gun? Okay? If you were to take a gun, load it, and prime it with the safety off, and you laid it down on the table, the gun would just sit there, okay? The gun is not the problem, it's the people, okay? So, them still pushing for gun control, I don't understand because it's not going to help anything, okay? If anything, it's going to increase crime significantly. And anyone that dies due to the fact they didn't have a weapon to defend themselves with anymore, that blood is on their hands. And they will never wash it out because they realize that they were disarmed and that's the reason they were killed is because they have no means of defense. Because police can't be everywhere. They can't they can't be like the frickin' CIA or Homeland Security. They can't be like those guys and be everywhere, okay? The police can only do so much, especially if you live out in a secluded area such as I. It's you got to worry about your own, you know. You can't necessarily rely on the police, you know. When they come, then you rely on them. But you live in a secluded area, it's going to take forever for police to get to you. You got to rely on yourself for defense, you know? So they take away guns, they're taking people's last line of defense away. Not everybody's, because most people don't need guns to defend their home. But the people that do or want to gun to defend their home, they're gonna feel powerless and they're gonna get scared. Okay, and that's gonna just cause even more problems because sort of panic thing going on. So I hope they realize that guns are not the problem. It's a mental health issue that the country has. I hope that they learn that and do something about that, you know? Push for something that would control mental health issues amongst the gun owning community. Community. There we go. Now I can English. But like I said, taking away guns is not going to help. Because you take away guns from law-abiding citizens, the only people that are gonna have guns after that happens are the criminals, and crime will go on a rise really, really fast. It'll be like you blink and it's like, "Oh my god, how'd this happen?" So, one way or another, I hope they realize it's a bad idea trying to do the gun control thing. I really do, because I'm afraid they'll actually end up succeeding in taking away our guns. I'm hoping the NRA doesn't allow it, but you know, the longer they push, eventually something will give for them, or unless they stop. Anyway, I got about 2 minutes left here. If you like today's episode and the fact that I've kind of kept it short, please like the video and subscribe if you want to see more upcoming videos that I got going on. Because I'm gonna make it so like a Monday is gonna be a current event video, and then the rest of the week it's gonna be movie type stuff. So or I'll just, I'll improvise, throw in a video that doesn't really follow into the day. Like, say if it's a movie day, and I end up throwing a current event, it's because I feel like that current event is well enough in knowing. But yeah, if you guys like today's video, please like, share, and subscribe, and just share with everybody you know if you liked it. Maybe they like it too, but the important thing is that you like it. I appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you for the recent subscribers that came to my channel. I appreciate it, and thank you guys so much for the views. I was not expecting even that much. So that really means a lot to me. You guys have a great one. I'm gonna come out with another video really soon, so be on the lookout for that one. Good night.